Hello TNT. It is my pleasure to introduce to you this very important and timely presentation. The presenter, naturopathic doctor and political activist Franco will first highlight where we have been going wrong with our democracy and governance, and then where we have found ourselves now, which is almost completely powerless. Dr. Franco will present a possible solution, an innovative system that we can adopt as a new way to govern ourselves. From his document, The Manifesto of the Alternative System of Governance, which he wrote over 30 years ago, he describes how we can upgrade our antiquated and corrupted system of democracy to accommodate for our participation, which will completely empower we the people in the decision-making process as it was meant to be. He shows how we shall stop electing kings that rule over us and eliminate political parties that do nothing but divide us. It's innovative, and God knows we need some innovation right now. So without further ado, I turn you over to Dr. Franco. Please enjoy, and please take it in with an open mind.
Hello, good night, everyone. Welcome to this presentation. I am your presenter, Franco. I am Trinidadian by birth. Let's put that out there because some people tend to think that I'm not. Naturopathic doctor, medical herbalist, political activist. I dislike injustice, and I am an aspiring devotee of life. I'll share with you the contents of this presentation, so you just get an idea. The revelation, the awakening, revolution that we need to happen, plan, the manifesto of the alternative system, upgrading our democracy, a no-party system, people empowerment, and people's representatives, action, and our role. The supporting organization is We Decide TT, or we. The revelation, time to awaken. All that is happening now is for a reason. All that is happening now with, the pandemic and all that sort of stuff is for a reason. It is meant to occur, and we have to realize that things were not good even before the pandemic began, or pandemic. Our prior normal had many flaws, and we were not in a great place. When I say we, I mean in Trinidad and Tobago, and it really extends to all of us all over the world. And this really, what is happening today in this world, is the impetus for change. The institutions are failing the people. We know that now more than before. Big Pharma cares about money first. The WHO, the FDA, the CDC were not what we thought they were. At least I thought they were institutions that were there to protect humanity. Now we realize that they're there to protect their interests. The mega rich mob controls everything. And that's what we are realizing today. They control the governments. All governments all over the world are failing all the people. There's no country that is happy with their government. Unless maybe China. Sometimes you see interviews with the Chinese and say, oh yes, it's good and it works good. But they are totally brainwashed. And now the people are rendered powerless. Totally powerless. And now also we have become hopeless. We have no hope. We cannot think about the future. We cannot plan anything, family, business, nothing. So it's almost a hopeless situation. But no one gave the elitist mob any authority over us. Yet they use their money and power to lobby governments, to create protectionist laws for their benefit. I just heard an interview a couple of days ago with Donald Trump, and he was speaking about Mark Zuckerberg and how Mark Zuckerberg came to the White House when he was there. And, they had dinner and so forth. And, Mark was asking for some favors. So that's how it works. These people, they send lobbyists or they go themselves when they can, and they try to get laws made for their benefit. We elected representatives to represent us and our wishes. But they don't. They represent the mob. We are powerless. This system is not working for us. And one very important lesson here is that we now see how powerless we, the people, are. Where one person can shut down everything and cripple our country and can starve citizens to death, literally, without us being able to have a say and defend ourselves. We should now have a better sense of how inadequate and unjust the system with which we govern ourselves is. Sorry, I skipped a couple lines. We are really meant to be in a great place. That really is the plan for humanity. We are meant to live on this earth in peace, in harmony with one another, in bliss and in prosperity. There's enough of everything to go around if we are not greedy and we learn to share and do things right. We have to realize our power. Within us is the most powerful power that exists. And we have the power to change everything. We need to get together to create the change we want. If this situation causes you fear, anxiety, anger, despair, and hopelessness, and you have realized this and you've realized your powerlessness, then what are you going to do? What are you prepared to do? And what are you waiting on? The time for change is now. Now is the only time we have, and we need to utilize our time properly. The revolution We need to empower the people. And we need a revolution. So while the word revolution conjures up images of revolt and violence against the government, I'm not proposing that. I am proposing a peaceful revolution. A revolution is called a revolution because a revolution is a very sharp change made to something, a turnaround. The word comes from Latin and is related to the word revolutio, which means turnaround. A violent revolution will cause serious problems. We'll have a void at the end of the day. There will be no government in power. We might have the army in power. We might have some other mob in power. We have chaos. There may be riots, burning of the cities. And eventually, we may change to another party when we have elections. And then we get another party and we'll be no better off. I can assure you of that. For change to occur, we need 5 things. We need a reason for change. I think we all have a reason. We need a desire for change. We have somewhat of a desire. I think it needs to be increased a lot. And we have to identify the change that we want. We can't just walk there and say, oh, you're doing garbage. We need to remove you from office. And then what? So we need to identify the change that we want. And we need to plan for the change. And then we can implement the change. To begin, first, we must change how we think and act. Individually, we must change. We must unite. Unite in the understanding that there's one supreme power. There's one. No matter your faith, there's one supreme power. In fact, that is the only thing that is exactly the same in all of us, that power. And we need to unite for freedom, justice, and the empowerment of our people. This is what we need to do now. And in taking the required action, we have to act. All of us has to act. Each of us may have different talents, but we all must act in our own way, utilizing our own creativity and our own talent. Come together in unison and create the change that is necessary for humanity now. We need to recognize, we as Trinidadians, our beautiful, wonderful, and powerful motto. Together we aspire, together we achieve. How many of us live that? How many of us think of that on a daily basis? The only way we're going to fix things is by the unification of the people. There's no other way. There's no other way. It can't be done any other way. We have to get together, unite as comrades, and get the job done. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody. Who is going to fix our country? How is our country going to be fixed? We have to change it. We have to fix it. We must be unified. And we need a plan. We need a plan. Identify the change make a plan, and then implement the plan. So, the plan. I am going to share a little bit of a plan with you. Here's the plan. Have a look at it. If you know a better plan, follow that plan. Bring it for me. If it's better, I will follow it too. Because I just want Trinidad to be able to rise up. In fact, I want the whole world to rise up and live in unity and bliss and prosperity. Whatever the plan, whichever plan, we all need to buy into that plan. And we need to work together within that plan, utilizing our talents and creativity and find our role so that we can all participate in the action that is required. So, this is how I got to here with this plan, a plan for Trinidad and Tobago, which I first named it. And it was from ideas I had when I lived abroad in the late 80s in Australia. And I found that things work there. Government institutions, government services worked. The roads were nice. When I went for my license, I was treated nicely. I didn't have long lines. People were, it was just nice. Everybody was courteous. They served you. It was a service to you, And I don't know, I wanted things to be better in Trinidad and Tobago. And for some reason, ideas started to come to me. And I just started to write them down because I thought they were okay and I didn't want to lose them. Sometimes you get ideas and then they just go away. So I wrote them down and kept them in a bit of a box. And I came back to Trinidad with that box. And during the coup of 1990, I got together with someone during the curfew hours, and with a typewriter, it was first compiled, all these little notes and bits of paper. And then later on, somebody put it onto a computer for me, and I renamed it the Manifesto of the Alternative System. We have some systemic issues in Trinidad, even before this pandemic, and the economy is very bad, worse now. Crime is terrible, and probably going to get worse before it could get any better. The government institutions are not run properly and do not serve us adequately. We have antiquated laws. We have no regard for law. We have corruption, nepotism, squandermania. So many scandals that we, the media, the police, the courts can keep up. Every day is 10 different things going on. We have mismanagement of all government services, no accountability, basic necessities are lacking, while the politicians live like kings above us. Can't be right. We have partisan toe-the-line politics. So the representatives just follow the party's dictates or the leader of the party's dictates, and that's it. Nobody asks us any questions what we want or what we need. We have adversarial politics, arrogance and aggression between government and opposition, both outside of Parliament and inside Parliament. Right? They go to Parliament and they waste the entire time talking about who didn't do what when they were in and who did what when they were in, and it is a catastrophe. It is horrible. There's no way to teach our children how to behave. It is full of arrogance and aggression. And decisions are made there without our consent. No system. We have no system to find out the needs of the people. No system to find out the will of the people. Only a vote every 5 years. Every 5 years, that's democracy, they tell you. You have the power to remove them in 5 years. That's not enough power. I want more power than that, and hopefully you as well. Now, please note, I'm not talking about any political parties. I'm not naming any politicians. This is absolutely unnecessary. We need solutions so that we can go forward and fix what needs to be fixed, right? No system, as I said, no system to voice our concerns. We have to go into the streets and burn tires, right, and protest. Many people can't. It's time consuming. You have to abandon your job for the day or days, right? You have to leave your family. That's a prehistoric way to do things. Today, yeah, we can organize a little social action on the media or on the Facebook, social media, but government don't take that on, right? That don't mean nothing to them. You just pull in at their pants threads at the bottom there, and they just kick you off, and they're doing what they want, right? The system of government has failed completely, and not only here in Trinidad and Tobago. But I would like Trinidad and Tobago to take this up. This is made for Trinidad and Tobago. All countries can use this, what I'm going to present here. All countries. But if we make the move and we can organize ourselves and get it done, then they can follow, right? Just put in another party, as I said earlier, the same system. It'll be the same khaki pants. You know, we need to change things, make things different. We need innovation, yes? So the solution is not going to lie in changing the government of the day or changing the party. We have to change and fix the system of governance. As people know, they say madness is continuing to do the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So we're mad. Because for 60 years, we're changing party, changing party, changing party, changing party. And a lot of people say, oh yes, we'll change back the party. But no party throughout time has ever fixed us properly. Even if they fix a couple of things, they never really did the work that needed to do to fix us here in Trinidad and Tobago. We're too far behind. We need to modernize this archaic system of governance. We cannot continue to use the same system, this archaic system, when everything else is being modernized. When modern management, high-tech, real-time systems accessible to us right now creates efficiencies and accountability that are successfully utilized in the private and corporate world. It's being done. There's no reason why government cannot work at the same level and efficiency as Facebook and Google and Amazon. I'm talking about the efficiencies by which they operate. Why not? The technology is available. And people all over the world is crying out for proper governance. It's time for change and it's time for action. So this presentation will show you how we will create a new system of democracy. There are other parts of the manifesto that we're not presenting here today, which deal with economic strategies for TNT, a new taxation system that basically gets rid of most of these taxes and utilizes as we use system, and various other parts to the manifesto that we can look at another time. This proposal is just the start of a new way, an offering of ideas, hopefully to be accepted by you, the people, and added to by you, the people, continually transforming and evolving as we evolve. We cannot just make a system and keep that system for 100 years. We need it to be a living system, continually changing to the ever-growing and changing needs of humanity. This proposal is really about a system that empowers people and gets them involved in our governance. It's about being able to tap into our biggest resource, our people, their ideas, their input, their participation. Government that is efficient and people-centered. That's what we want. That's what I want. You decide if you want it. The vision. So this is my vision, and I hope you would like to share in my vision. To see our citizens empowered and fulfilling their dreams and goals in harmony with the opportunity to participate in governance of their country at some level, while seeking the best for each other and for the environment, where arrogance and corruption have no place within our society, and where all law-abiding citizens are free to follow their pursuits. The mission is to work with all to provide the changes necessary within the structures of government to accomplish good governance, providing hope and opportunity to our citizens to fulfill their dreams and goals. So we need to upgrade democracy. We need to fix democracy. This teacher asks, what is democracy? And the student says, democracy is the freedom to elect our own dictators. She's quite right, isn't she? According to what she's seeing. But from the dictionary definition of what is democracy, it says power to the people. The people as a body, government by the people, for the people. A system that empowers the people to decide for themselves their destiny. That's from the dictionary. But none of that exists. As I said, the only thing that exists is a vote every 5 years. That's it. That's our power, nothing else. According to Thomas Jefferson, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence and the third president of the United States of America, he said, democracy is the equal claim of all to a fair participation in the enactment of the laws by which they are governed. Fair participation in the enactment of the laws by which they are governed. To participate in it. Right now, there's no participation. The Parliament does what it wants. You can't even go into Woodford Square. You can't go outside Woodford Square. You can't protest anything they're doing. You can't stop anything. So certainly we cannot honestly say that any of this description of democracy is what exists. The word democracy comes from the Greek. Demos means the people. Kratos means to rule. So democracy means rule by the people. Power to the people. Democracy began in Athens, Greece, in 500 BC. And the citizens debated and voted on legislative bills. They gathered in the square, as this image depicts, And all the citizens, well, not all, was only the male, the female weren't allowed, and the slaves weren't allowed, but citizens were allowed to debate and vote on legislative bills. The very bills that were going to govern them. And as we know today, modern management techniques in corporations, there's a tendency to give to the workforce, to give to the employees tasks to come up with solutions and implement solutions for issues and problems they have within the organization. And it is known that when these employees and teams establish these solutions and implement these solutions, that they're more likely to go along and obey and partake in the implementation and utilization of those systems and solutions. Rather than a boss coming down and saying, this is how it's going to be, and you'll just have to follow me, right? Nobody wants a boss like that. So it's important to understand that democracy did not begin with a party system. A lot of people think that is democracy. It's not. It's not. Party system is something completely different that developed over time. In the United States of America, initially they did not have political parties. The democracy started, and soon after the independence, parties did evolve. The Constitution of the United States was adopted in 1788 and really provided the world's first formal blueprint of a modern democracy. The administration of George Washington and the first few sessions of the US Congress were nonpartisan. In 1790s, factions within the early US government coalesced into the Federalist and Democratic Republican parties, gangs, right? So basically, they all sat at the Parliamentary Assembly, Congress, and when one person had a particular bill that he wanted to get passed, he chummied up with his friends and said, look, would you vote for my bill? And they would say, oh, yeah, would you vote for mine? And they sort of ganged up against others in the Congress, and they formed gangs, or what is called as parties. But they could be classified as gangs, actually, under our anti-gang legislation. And that is for another time. Our present system, we elect a candidate put forward by a party. That candidate is not ours. They are the representatives of their party and their leader, toe-the-line politics. They cannot do as they wish without, they can do as they wish without our input or consent. We have no power except to elect another party candidate at the next election in 5 years. This is not working. This is madness. This is unacceptable to me. This is unacceptable to you. Are you accepting it? Are you going to do something about it? I'm proposing a no-party system to go back and fix this, because it's a party system that has corrupted this. I just like this placard: vote for nobody. Nobody will keep election promises. Nobody will listen to your concerns. Nobody will help the poor, the unemployed. Nobody cares. It says if nobody is elected, things will be better for everyone. Well, if we don't vote, somebody will vote for somebody and put them in, and you know what that will mean. So, but the upper part of it is true. Nobody cares, and nobody keeps promises, and nobody listens to the poor and unemployed. We the people, we need to organize ourselves within our communities, constituencies. We need to find our own independent people's representative, PR, who have no party ties, and we need to put them up for election. We need to elect and put into parliament our own people's representatives from our communities, not a representative of a party. We need our own representative who will work with their constituencies on issues and act in accordance with the wishes of the people in Parliament pertaining to creating and amending laws and policy for the people. Communities need to have physical meetings, online meetings for discussing issues and finding solutions. People will vote on possible solutions. Our biggest natural resource is the ideas of our people. Right now, we are being run from one person and their ideas alone, who is listening to no one. And that's it. But we have a country with 1.4 million citizens, at least 1 million full-fledged adults of voting age, right? And that's a million brains that we can utilize to find solutions to our problems. That's what we need to do. Direct democracy describes the enabling of citizens to vote directly on constitutional amendments, laws, treaties, policies, and on community infrastructural and social issues. Direct democracy started in Athens, Greece, as I showed earlier. The USA began with a form of direct democracy. And direct democracy exists where people vote on issues. Switzerland worked on a system of direct democracy for some time now. It's a picture of the Swiss in the community square, the town square, and they are having a meeting. If you can see their head tables up at the far screen, and they're voting by a show of hands. A little archaic, we need to move beyond that, but at least they've been afforded a say, a vote on more than electing a party's representative that coming to fool you and say, we are here to represent you. Let me hug up your child and then you don't see me for 5 years. This is direct democracy. This is a town hall meeting somewhere. And by a show of hands, they express what the majority of the persons in the audience wishes are. That's direct democracy. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Many of us would have heard that saying. Acting on the majority vote of the people. This is democracy. Direct democracy or participatory democracy. Let us embrace the 21st century. It's time to modernize an efficient way to capture the will of the people. I hope you agree with me so far. We'll have questions at the end. Sorry, I should have said that earlier. We need to get rid of the archaic ballot box. It is not uncorruptible. It is corruptible. It certainly is time wasting. You know, you have to give people, 2-3 hours to vote or the day off work. And we can't have that when we deal with issues, and it's environmentally harmful. It's, a lot of trees to make all this paper to be disposed of thereafter. So we need to move on. We need to move on with the times. And there is the technology for e-voting. I've seen this, quite a while now. So the systems are there, the apps are there. We have to organize ourselves and get the right app and utilize it per community, right? We can vote for candidates, our people's representatives. We can vote for community matters, local government issues. We can vote on national matters, law, policy. And we can one day vote, we will work and vote on world matters. Do we want, Mr. X dictating X, Y, and Z or not? E-voting methods. So when I wrote this, they didn't have any cell phones, right? Late 80s did not have cell phones. I didn't even have a computer. There was no computers. Well, not for me anyway. So I wrote about utilizing the ATM machine, reconfiguring it so that we all could, go down to the ATM and place a vote. We just reconfigured the ATM. I spoke to some tech guys. They said that was totally possible. We put our card in and we could vote, A, B, C, D, or yes or no on any particular matter that was before our community or before the nation that week or month or period of time, and we can use that. So now with the advent of computers and phones and stuff like that, we have the technology. We can stay home and we can do it from home. People who need assistance could go into a community office and get some assistance, the elderly and so forth, who are not tech savvy, right? There are 14 countries that have used some form of online voting, but Estonia was the first to introduce permanent national internet voting with robust security features. This small Baltic state began using online voting in 2005, and e-voting has served in 8 elections. In the 2005 local general elections, only 1.9% of voters casted their ballots online. But this rose to more than 47% in the most recent parliamentary election. So e-voting, safe and effective, no side effects, pun intended. People's representatives, PRs. Now, it so happens that PR is the acronym for People's Representatives. And that also stands for public relations. And that is really the role of the people's representatives. It's public relations to and fro the community. These representatives don't need to have the ideas. We have a community. There's about 50,000 people per constituency. So we have 50,000 brains, adult brains. We don't need the people's representative to have the brain for all of us, right? He is the PR, he's the public relations officer, right? There's no party alliance, no party-line politics, no dual portfolio, no ministerial positions. This is solely to do the job of the people, to take the will of the people to Parliament, right? To find out what the will is, establish the voting mechanisms, find out what the will is on any particular topic, any particular law that is being made, and take it in. They're not going to have any security detail. The country has no money. We don't want blue lights and passing traffic. They could take a bicycle, they could take a taxi. They are not kings. They will not be ministers. That's a different position. No ministerial positions. No diplomatic benefits. No sneaking in the back of the airport to board your flight. It's a non-paying position. The country has absolutely no money. Absolutely none. Any that they have is all borrowed. So we're in total deficit, right? We are like a vagrant with borrowed money and don't know what to do, have no plan. Right. So it's a non-paying position. It could be national service, right? It could be a school leaver. They have no jobs anyway. University graduate, there's no jobs. Give 1 year service to your community. It will go on your resume. A retired person, still have your wits about you. You want to give back to society, to your community. Engage. Take the offer. Do some national service. And we can remove these people. We have a recall mechanism. We have a vote easily. We don't have to have ballot box. It's all online. And we can change that person relatively easily. A 1 year term and give somebody else the work to do. Right? No more kings, no more rulers. I don't want kings. I don't want rulers. I don't know about you. I don't want. Right? These people's representatives will work with the communities in amending and passing of the laws for the people, by the people. This is democracy. They will sit in Parliament at a round table. They will elect a governor. Right? They will appoint committees. I'll show you how the governor elects in a bit. So yes, a round table parliament. Independent people's representatives, the representatives of the people. Not this. This is what we have now. This is a divisive, arrogant, time-wasting, time-bashing exercise. It is horrid. We need to get rid of it. That's the old way. We need a new way. This is the round table that we suggest. We'll keep the 41 constituencies. We don't have to change everything. We change what we need to change, and we'll change as we go. With the people's input to make those changes. Nobody. I don't want to dictate anything to anybody. I don't want to rule anything. I don't want to have a political party. And I want my country to thrive, and everyone in it to thrive. This is how we need to do it. Where we, in the comfort of our home, we can vote on our phones, with our apps, and say what it is we want. And that is what will go down there. That is what dictates what goes down there. Not one man or group or gang of men or women or men and women. We, the people, need to dictate what it is we want. The time is here upon us to create that change. So we can vote for issues, we can vote for people. No more prime minister. We just need a chairperson, a people's representative chairperson to chair the meeting. And they are chosen from the elected who will sit at the first sitting on that round table. What a delightful day that will be. And from among them, they do a secret ballot, they elect somebody. That person doesn't have to be there for a year or 5 years. They could sit for 3 months, a month, they're just chairing the meeting. They're not leading nobody. We're going to lead ourselves. The voice of the people. The will of the people. A system that works with that. No more Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House. You have to address the Speaker while you make a speech, right? You should be addressing the people of the nation, not the Speaker. Let's get rid of that. Nuisance, embarrassment. Back to governor. Some people say, oh, we're going back to colonial days. No, governor is the suited name. It's government, it's governance, it's governor. Where did president come from? And we accepted that. The governor's role is to ensure fair play within the system of governance. So when we create and establish our system, the governor, who will be elected by the people, they will be selected, they will be put up by the people's representatives in the round table parliament. And each of those persons will be able to put one person forward. And that will go out to the citizenry, and we will all be able to vote online, quickly, at home, for who we want, and whoever it is will become the governor. They don't have to sit down in the mansion by the savannah there. They could stay home and be the governor. They don't need no salary to be the governor, right? Their role is to ensure fair play within the system of governance and to inaugurate certain things and things. No such a big puppy show business. We don't need that. We need solutions to our problems. We need proper roads. We need water, effective electricity. We need jobs. We need all these things, proper transportation system, right? And they'll have a term. We figure out what term it is, right? Everybody's going to have an input. We're going to have debate. We're going to have voting, you know. Everything I say here doesn't have to be exactly the way. But gosh, no more kings. No more kings. We shall not be electing any more kings to reign over us. This has to stop. These kings are reigning over all the countries right now and listening to the mob, the elitist mob, who is filling the bank accounts and pockets of these kings, these elected kings, these so-called leaders. I don't want any kings. The people we elect will be humble servants to do the people's work. The PRs, public relations, people's representatives. And they will act in accordance with the will of the people. No security detail, no more kings. Ministers, we don't need ministers, that's for churches and things. We need to fix the mismanagement in this country. Everything is being mismanaged. We took money and we built this and we paid for that and we can't manage it. The brand new boat, mismanaged, breakdown. The big building, the erect one, watch the bathrooms 6 months later. Nobody is managing it. Deplorable conditions, right? I've never been to I've been to many countries, and I've never been to a country with worse roads than ours. I've never been to a country with, what do you call it? Those drains in front of your house, box drain. I never heard the term before, never saw it anywhere. You ever see it when you watch a television movie? You ever watch a neighborhood with box drains and moss growing in it and mosquito and smell and stink in front of people's house? That's terrible. The people of this country have been taken for a ride. We need suitably qualified persons to manage our ministries and state agencies. Not a state agency make money. Why we continue? That's madness. Supply and demand. If a businessman see it have a demand for something, they will open up the business and provide the commodity, and they will run it properly. And if they're making money, somebody else will open one too, and they will have competition, and they will run it even better. But there are some institutions that need to exist, like judiciary, police service, and various other things. Health sector. We don't have a health sector. That's a sick care sector. Anyway, for these ministries, state agencies, we need to recruit the proper people for them. Normally, in a corporation, they want the best CEO, the best managers. They go to an employment agency to find them the best people for the job, right? And that's what we need to do. And the employment agency will come back and say, look, we have 4 people at the top of the list here that we recommend to the commissioner of police, for the manager, the CEO of the Ministry of Education, or what have you. And then that can go before hiring and firing committee and performance evaluation committee, who is selected by the PRs, the parliamentary PRs that we have put into place. So we'll have those, we'll also have the committees. And the permanent secretaries, they really do, I don't know the need for a secretary. It's really managers, and if you don't do the job, you're gone. You're working with a preset list of things that you need to accomplish. You know, you have a committee from within the Ministry of Education stating, or coming out from the University of West Indies, saying what it is we want to have happen in that particular ministry over the course of the next year, short term, 5 years, long term, 10, 20 years. And the person put in charge, the CEO, has to make these things happen. And there will be a performance evaluation of these people on a timely basis. And if they're not performing, they're gone. Because it's the only way to manage these things. It's not being managed. We elect somebody in a party, and the party people say, hey, you take that portfolio, boy, you take that one, boy, you take that one. And they know nothing about it. Oh, that's why it's not working. God, man. No security detail. You're a manager for this thing. You're a CEO. No more kings. You're not no big papi, right? So we have some proposed constitutional changes that need to change. So once we do it, we organize our constituencies, and we have the app, and we vote in, or we vote for a candidate. Prior to the election, we're going to put that person on the ballot, and the community will pay to put that person. But we don't want 5 and 6 people going on the ballot paper to compete with the existing parties. We want one person, our PR from our constituency. Community puts them on the ballot, election time, And the rest have to say goodbye, out to pasture, right? So constitutional changes need to be submitted to the electorate prior to the election and agreed upon. Just a few. And they need to be carried out at the first and second sitting of the new parliament. And the constitution shall become a living document where changes will be routinely made in accordance with the needs in a timely fashion. The People's Representative Chairperson will be elected, as I said earlier, from the PRs. They will be rotated. As in Switzerland, the Prime Minister of Switzerland is 1 year. 1 year, finished. No staying longer than that, right? And the people vote in Switzerland for law, for legislation. The PRs sit at a round table. The citizens vote for the governor from a slate put up by the PRs. There'll be mechanisms for citizens to contribute ideas and vote on laws. The majority vote of citizens for creating and amending all laws, including the Constitution. So we'll be able to change the Constitution by a majority vote of the people as needed. And as I said, CEOs and managers will be recruited from the ministries. That kind of was the summary, but just there it is again. We don't need to regurgitate that. Right, many other changes can follow, as I spoke about earlier. We need to change the sick care system into a proper healthcare system, proper public transportation, and things. I have all of these on other presentations that we'll see in the near future. Right. The people are ready for change. I'm not sure they know what change they want. I know they want better, but they don't know what change they want. They're fed up. They know no other way. People actually do not know of a different way besides the way that exists. The two-party system of democracy, where you vote once in 5 years, at which time they do whatever they want, and you have no say in the matter, and they can starve you to death. But they're wary. People migrating, they were migrating even before this whole lockdown thing. They only know the way of party politics and tribal voting. This will eliminate tribal voting altogether, because we are one. We are not going to be separated by anything. There's no division. There's no red and yellow and purple and orange, right? Nobody has to come and talk bad about the next side. All we have to do is come and talk about our ideas at our meetings, bring up the problems at our meetings, and let's listen to the ideas and solve our problems. The people, they see no light at the end of the tunnel. They're feeling powerless and hopeless. Oh my God, I don't know how the poor people are making it. I don't know. I really don't know. My first placard, when I protested for 11 days in front of the Prime Minister's office in May of 2000, said, poor people suffering are locked now. They're only locked down a couple of weeks, not even the SOE. Because it's the poor people are mostly affected, but all will be affected. We will all become poor if they have their way. But we are not going to allow them to have their way. We must push this and get this done as quickly as possible so that we can become empowered, because they are not going to like it when they see anything like this coming to pass. So we need to establish this in a hurry. While the elected rule like kings and live like kings above us, this must stop. How will we benefit? Our voices, our views, and participation will count. Laws will be guided and approved by we the people. We will make laws to support the people. We, We, the people, will govern our country's affairs. We are the empowered. No more kings. No more arrogant dictatorial leadership. Hope is what we need here. As we can now see some light ahead, a way forward, a new way to govern ourselves. We will move forward with hope and togetherness. These suitable managers will be accountable, reducing the mismanagement in the public service, reducing wastage and corruption, while providing efficient services to you and me. Less taxpayers' money wasted on mismanagement, corruption, and on supporting the king's lavish lifestyles. Monies will be directed towards fixing the services and infrastructure. There will be endless opportunities utilizing and combining our ideas and creative talents. Just a better environment for everyone to evolve. We will never again be controlled by the elitist mob, because we're not going to listen to them. Big business will not be able to lobby and influence government anymore to create their protectionist laws for them. Lobbying is nothing but legalized bribery. No more. Big business will be guided by the laws we create that protect the people. Power and control will be in the hands of we, the people. Are you ready? Let's begin. I hope I am ready. I sort of been ready for a long time. It's 30 years I've been with this, with all this stuff. 30 years. Our role. People need to know that there's a new way. It is, the onus is on each of us to spread the news, to spread the good news. If you think it's good news, it needs to be spread. People need to know. And people need to come together and start working together so we can make this happen. Right? We need to sensitize the population with presentations, word of mouth, social media, mainstream media, mobilize the communities. We have a lot of work to do, people. We have to set up the community votings in each community. The communities have to vote for their representative to get them ready for the next election. If we have to wait 3 years again, we're waiting, but we set and ready to go. If one call early, we should be ready to go as well, right? But we need to set ourselves up to be ready to go, right? We must agree on the proposed constitutional changes and be ready to vote on that, right? And get ready for the general elections, right? Spoke about all that. So, viewers, I've come to the end of my presentation. We have a website. It was giving us some trouble. It may be back up today or tomorrow. You can take a note of it. We have a Facebook page that I think is just up today. We have a Gmail for contact. We have an office number if you need to call us, find out anything directly, how to get involved or anything. Hopefully on the website there is a place for you to sign up and to get involved. But it's all about getting involved, because this ain't gonna happen just like that, right? It means work, and it means putting your talents and your particular creative abilities to the fore on the table, and let's all work together, right? We have some initiatives happening here as well. We have some bumper stickers that we're going to try to get done. We have some core cards that we may get tomorrow for the rally on Tuesday. So we can hand out some core cards. I did want to have a table and a booth, but I don't think that's happening because we just didn't get the help we wanted. But hopefully we'll get some of these marketing tools as we go. So, join, support, financial if you like, great, we can do things with money, but more than ever, it's your participation. Bring your energy, bring your talents, share, enlighten, right? Enlighten everyone you meet. Come and get a card so you can just keep it on you. If you meet someone, you start talking about it, you can just give them a card when they go home. They can go online and check it out, right? Yeah, together we can do this. It is our responsibility to do this. It's like the kid that the older child. The father says, "Well, no, you get in the licks because you should have known better." Right? So the responsibility is on you now. So seeing that you have come to realize that there exists something else that we can do besides doing the same madness over and over, I'm afraid the responsibility is on you. It's on all of us, right? So we're going to bring it to a close, and I just want to thank everybody for joining us and listening to what we presented here today. Please go and join we on Facebook. Please go and join on the website. See the website up, or maybe wait until tomorrow. We were having some difficulties with it. Take a note of the number. Get in touch and let's participate and get some fuel on the fire and get things going, because it's only together we're going to do this. We have to come together and we have to work together. I can't do this on my own or with a few people. We need lots of people to actually make this happen, right? So thanks again, and blessed night to everyone.